welcome to Mrs. Sebastian's studio again. Super happy you're here today. So today is a continuation building on the presentation and the last project that we did. So if you didn't do the last project on optical illusions, you may want to do that one first before you do this one. And I'm going to just go straight into how to do the project for this. And stay tuned to the end of the video, and I will have a super silly illusion joke for you today. All right, let's get into that artwork.
For this lesson, you'll need a ruler, a pencil with an eraser, and of course a marker, and don't forget your imagination. All right, to get started with this lesson, I'm going to measure both sides in intervals of 2 using my ruler on the centimeter side. So these will be 2 centimeter spacings. Take the long line there, line it up with the edge of your paper, and then go ahead and mark every interval of 2 on your paper. 2, 4, 6, 8. Basically, if you can know your 2's times tables, you'll be good. We're going to stop at 20, slide it over, and do the same thing over here. All right, and then we're going to do some straight lines going across. So line up the dots on both sides with the edge of your ruler. Spread your fingers wide and hold it down, and then you lightly press against it with your pencil, and you're less likely to have movement as you're doing the lines. Now we're going to be making also some markings at the top and bottom. And really for this part, I'm going to say it's best to start off with a couple of 2 centimeters to get started off on each end. So I'm going to do a couple here, like maybe 3 marks. And then I'm going to do 3 marks over here. So again, it's going to be at 2, 4, and then 6 I'm not going to mark because it's the edge of the paper. But I do need to mark right there where the long line is. And then I'm going to do the same thing down here. Again, I'm just going to line up with the long line, and I'm just going to mark 3 marks that are 2 centimeters on each side. There we go, and I like to line up right here on the 6. Okay, so now I'm going to do those straight lines going down, lining up those 2 again to make a checkerboard. And I'm going to do the same thing over here as well. So now we want to start making spacings, and you can decide, like if you decide you want to have your have it be more narrow right here, you might decide to go back and add another line here for 8. So you can have 4 grids coming over, 4 squares on the grid coming over. And then maybe I'm going to start to make these spaces more narrow, and they'll become more and more narrow as we go. And for this, I'm just going to say it's probably best to kind of eyeball it. Like this is close to the 2 centimeters, but I'm pretty sure it's not. It's just slightly less. And then I'm going to do the same thing over here. It's just going to be slightly less than the 2 centimeters that we had. And then I'm going to make the next one a little bit more narrow than the previous one was. Just a little bit. And I'll do the same thing over here. And then the next one will be even more narrow. Okay, so now I've got the most narrow part here. I'm gonna make this spacing get a little larger again. And when you get down to the last one, we're gonna just kind of divide that one in middle. I think that'll be fine. All right, so now I have a series that's much more narrow and closer together, and then it becomes the full size on the outside edges. So now I'm gonna go in there and use my marker, and I'm going to color the checkerboard in. All right, boy, did it feel great to make that last square. So hopefully you can get the illusion that it looked like it kind of dips in and then it comes back out again through this op art lesson.
Oh, I hope you enjoyed doing that op art project with me. Definitely, we're building on a lot of skills that we learned in the last op art project that we did. And this one, I think, really has some really cool tricks of the eye to it. All right, so who else does tricks of the eye? Well, magicians do. In fact, they're even called illusionists sometimes. So here is my super silly joke of the day. Why did the magician fail his test? Because there were too many trick questions. Magic trick, get it? Mm-hmm. All right, so remember, we always want to be kind to everyone we meet. Give somebody a big hug today because they probably need it. And keep on making great art.